Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Before I Do, the show that tackles everything that you should do before saying I do. This is for those of you who are dating, want to be married, don't know if you want to be married, in a relationship, potentially with someone else, and also to considering being in a relationship. Our show helps to facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
That's right. And it is meant to be interactive. So get ready, because when we pose the questions, we want to hear from you. We want to know what your experiences are. And if you don't want to put your business out there in the street, you could just say you're asking for a friend. You know how we do. So so just be ready to really share your experiences. It really provides support for other people as well.
Absolutely. And so hopefully we are not the first, but let us not be the last to wish you all a happy new year. So this is the first Before I Do of 2023. And of course, we have another hot topic for you all for us to discuss this evening as it relates to dating and making sure that you have at least amount of headaches as possible. So the topic tonight is no more dating headaches in 2023.
Say it with us. No more dating headaches.
We rebuke dating headaches in the name.
In the name.
However, in order for you to be able to be free from headaches, it is important to be mindful of all of the things that could potentially cause them. So that is important for you to reflect on some of the things you might have done in your 2022 or even prior to that, and figure out the best way for you to be able to move forward in those things. So of course we have some tips and have some really great reference information for you all this evening. And so we want to jump right into our topic. And this is something that you were interested in discussing with the people, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, so pretty much every generation, they really push the culture forward. And pretty much the dating generation, it's thriving. Dating apps are thriving. And according to a lot of the projections of all the dating apps, how we're interacting and engaging with one another in this social experience called dating is, they collect all these algorithms and they put a projection out in 2023. And pretty much the 2023 projection is that most people are saying goodbye to situationships. Yeah, so now, you know what a situationship is?
I do, now that we're doing this show. So yeah, it was something that I definitely had to learn the definition of. So a situationship is a circumstantial relationship. It is a casual, undefined, commitment-free relationship. It is what you're looking for in the moment. It can give you a chance to enjoy the benefits of a relationship without expecting too much emotional energy. So this is a relationship that is sometimes, most of the time, it does have sex or physical intimacy involved. There are some elements of dating, but it is largely informal. And the whole premise of it is to have a partner when you want to have a partner, is to have that access and availability to them, but it not to be a formal commitment that is involved in it.
All right, now I'm just gonna have to speak up, okay? Because old school, I'm just saying the old school elders, not they would really call that what? I mean,
shacking.
You pretty much, you giving out samples, you just spreading your wealth with the village, and so. But that's not how the current dating population generation, that's not how they see situationships. And so it is very important to really ask, man, why are they saying goodbye to situationships? A casual, undefined relationship. It has, the expectations are pretty low. It's like you and I, we decide when we want to get together. We decide when we're taking our space because, again, there's no commitment.
And I think it's important for us to be fair to the generation, because a lot of them are subscribing to situationships because they have seen the eroding of marriage. They grew up in households where they've seen either marriage not done right, or seen relationships that have not been fruitful and productive or beneficial to both parties. And so this whole idea, and again, but to be honest, this is not anything that is new, but it is a situation that could come from the idea that this particular generation has seen that, marriage in the traditional form isn't necessarily working today. And so is that something do I want to commit to? If I am intend to be a professional working class woman who is interested and wants to balance having a family and having a career, would I allow myself to be subjected to a potential husband who wants me to take on a traditional role as relates to being a housewife? So again, some of those things are very important in considering why situations are important and something and an option for this particular day and age.
And there's a lot of research out there that talks about situationships. Are they beneficial? In all things, right? We are very diverse people, and for some people, I'm sure it works, right? Because otherwise it wouldn't be something that people engage in, right? So there are probably some people, they're very clear about who they are, about what they want. They set the rules, they set the boundaries, they govern themselves by it, and they're probably fulfilled in that, and I'm sure they will say that they're fulfilled in their situationship. However, there is a situation where a lot of research is being uncovered that both partners, while they're often looking, right, to find an easy source of sexual satisfaction and physical affection without a real relationship attached, typically, yes, the situationship is ideal. However, unfortunately, research shows that one partner is often expecting more. Oh, man.
Ring the bell. And therein lies the issue.
Hold on. One partner is expecting more and can end up heartbroken when the reality of the situationship becomes clear.
And part of the reason why that happens is obviously things can change, but usually it's because one person has gone into the situationship not being honest about exactly what it is that they want and allowing themselves to compromise and settle for a situationship when really what they want is an actual formal relationship with boundaries, with standards that has an intended end in mind.
Well, hold on, because some people will push back and say, no, I went into my situationship and I didn't want commitment. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be casual. I didn't want all of those expectations and attachments. But there are individuals that midway in that situationship, 6 months in the situationship, I'm feeling a little different now.
You mean they start catching feelings?
They start catching the feelings, okay? And what happens when you catch feelings, right? Do you get to change the rules of engagement? Well, people would say, well, that's deceptive, that's manipulative. You can't change the rules. But the question is you also, your emotions and your feelings are what they are. So what is your responsibility if that occurs? We do want you guys to weigh in. So we're going to go ahead and put a question out there for you all. We want to know, are you open to a situationship? Why or why not?
And you've heard us share a little bit about what a situationship is. If you haven't heard of it before, you've heard us share a little bit about what a situationship is. It is essentially a relationship that is free of commitment, that is undefined, that is casual, but still involves, again, physical intimacy and some elements of dating. So based on that, are you open to a situationship?
Yes.
And if you are, why? And if you are, why? And if you aren't, why not?
Now, hold up now, because we are, again, couples academy practitioners. So, if you are married right now, this, we're going to advise.
Don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble.
Yeah, this question is really not for you. Okay? Or you're going to find yourself really calling and needing some services. Okay? All right? So, are you open to a situationship, or have you? Let's say you're in a serious relationship now. Maybe you're in a committed relationship. Are you open to a situationship? Are you in one? What are the things that, if you are in one, is it working? And why? What are the rules of engagement?
All right, so we're going to take a really quick commercial break. So be sure to put your answer to our Speak Now question in the chat, and we will be right back with more before I do.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Welcome back to Before I Do, where we are talking about our hot topics. First show of the year. No more dating headaches in 2023. And the way to do that is saying goodbye to the situationship.
So according to research, these individuals, these millennials, these Gen Zers are saying that they are saying goodbye to situationships, which again are casual, undefined, commitment-free relationships that usually do involve physical, sexual intimacy, and also some elements of dating.
And they get credit for having created the situationship. I mean, for me personally, we're in this industry of relationship counseling and coaching. And to be honest, the first time I heard the expression was through our 19-year-old adult child.
Right.
Yeah. And she explained what a situationship is. And so I said, okay, your generation created that. And then I asked, are you sure? Like, is this real? Is this something that lasts? How long does a situationship last? But you know what? There are 5 signs that you are possibly in a situationship. Because
it is possible that some of you out there that are under the sound of our voice are actually in a situationship and don't even know. We're asking the question, which our Speak Now question once again is, are you open to a situationship? Why or why not? And some of you may already be in one and not even know it.
Yes. So these are some signs that you might be in a situationship. So if you're not open to it, you definitely want to know if you're currently present in a situationship. And then the first thing is, because again, if you don't want any dating headaches, again, you want to be clear, right? And so most of our generation is saying goodbye to the situationship. And what that means is there are 5 ways to know if you were in one. The first thing is you don't use labels. Like, we don't use labels. So when I introduce you to my family, my friends, my coworkers, we go out to a party and you run into somebody you know, like, I'm not going to say you're, my guy friend,
this is Charmaine.
Yeah, I'm just going to use your name. Yeah. There's no labels, right? There's no long-term plans. So don't ask me about, next year. No. See, that would assume that you're invited into my next year. So no long-term plans. You haven't made it exclusive. So meaning you haven't had a direct conversation speaking to it. Another one is that you lack emotional connection. It's just physical. It's just convenient. And it satisfies our physical. And then the last one is you deal with inconsistent behavior.
Ring the bell. Man, that's clutch right there. Wow.
So you deal with inconsistent behavior, and inconsistency is a common trait of a situationship. Meaning, I might text you, hey, what you wearing? And then we are quick to respond. We're like right there. And then another time I might text you, what are you wearing? And I get ghosted for like 72 hours, like 3 days. But guess what? You get to do that because I don't have there's no entitlement. There's no sense of loyalty that's, that I get to have.
Well, when you think about the characteristics of a situationship, these 5 things all align with the parameters of it. There are no boundaries. There's no commitment. It's casual. It's informal. And so all of these 5 things lead to the type of flexibility that initially people find attractive when it comes to engaging in a situationship. I can have the benefits of a relationship. We can hang out. We can have sex. We can interact with each other on my leisure or at your leisure. And then, but at the same time, I do not owe you the courtesy of a phone call to see how your day went. I don't,
Okay.
I don't owe you a checking in. But again, when we talk about a situationship and a relationship, a formal relationship, those parameters and things are lowered or removed for you to have that type of flexibility. And that is part of the reason why, again, individuals that are dating in 2023 are looking to move away from situationships, because it doesn't necessarily lead to the end goal, which is an important part as you look at dating. Why are you dating? What are you hoping to accomplish or get from it? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? Are you looking to marry? And these are questions that you want to ask yourself before you even allow yourself to engage in dating with someone, to ensure that they are on the path, or at least have some of the things you're looking for, depending on where it is you're trying to go.
Yeah, and I think you have to be honest. What's the difference between a situationship and a friendship?
Right.
And that's the big, because some people say, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's like, but some people enter into a situationship when they really want friendship. They really want friendship, but then, and studies do show that online dating often tends to lead to more of a physical relationship a lot sooner than one of the partners really want. And so a lot of times people are put into a situationship before they're even ready, and or without really being volunteering to enter into it.
Well, what's interesting about online dating and it leading right to physical intimacy is it does provide the opportunity for you to get to know someone before you actually meet them in person.
This is true.
But the challenge that it presents is there's this guise or this veil that I know you. And so when I meet you for the first few times, now I feel comfortable giving my body over to you, as opposed to physically interacting with you, going out on a few dates and allowing myself to get to know you on a one-to-one individual basis in person. That process is really shortened because of the online presence and us getting to know one another in that way. But you still have to be very careful of allowing yourself to walk through the process of getting to know someone outside of just the digital, outside of just the virtual digital reality, which is an important part of providing an extra step in that system, but not allowing that to speed up if, again, you're looking for a potential long-term relationship, to where you jump right into the physical piece because you feel like you had 4 or 5 online chats or virtual conversations with someone.
I mean, there's a lot to be said that the generation who created this atmosphere of situationship, or at least coined the term situationship, are saying in 2023, we're done. We're done with the situationship. And guess what? So if you don't want any more dating headaches in 2023, and you want to follow really the wave of the culture that is trying to be built, then you want to say goodbye to situationships, and you want to say hello to dating with intention.
Absolutely.
And so with that, we want to ask you another question. How are you being intentional in your relationship? And I started to put like plural S on that, but that might send the wrong message. Okay.
So that would seem a bit counterproductive. Absolutely.
But I wanted to say relationships, because let's be real, you are in a relationship with yourself. If you are in a romantic relationship, that's a relationship. You have a relationship with your family, and you have a relationship with your friends, and often your community. And so that was my point. How are you being intentional in each of those arenas? So we want to hear from you guys. Weigh in. What are your thoughts? How are you being intentional in your relationships? If you want to stop having headaches, you want to be intentional. Okay. And so the question becomes is, how are you being intentional today, right now, so that you can get the best out of your relationships?
So speaking of that metaphor that we initially started in, is the title of the show, when it comes to headaches, right? Part of headaches is what most people do is you have to stop to think about, okay, why do I have this headache? Like, is it because I didn't eat? Is it because I didn't drink enough water? Is it, you start going through the checklist of what causes me to have a headache and what would trigger this. So a lot of what is happening when it comes to this transition from situationships to intentionality is that individuals are saying, I'm leaving. I'm in this situationship, but I'm having a lot of headaches. So am I really getting what it is that I want out of this relationship? And what is it that I'm purposing to accomplish and do? And so, I think it's really important that you stop and really take inventory and really and take accountability of exactly what it is that may be causing you to not get exactly what it is that you want to accomplish out of your relationships.
Absolutely. And when you audit, you take inventory of everything, all the breakups that you might have experienced in 2022. If you take inventory of some of the drama where like, man, things were good and they were great until they weren't. Right. And so, and maybe this is not your situation. Maybe your situationship was thriving. It worked. But typically a situationship is not long term.
Absolutely.
Because usually the longer you share a space with an individual, it is very hard to keep it emotionless. So really, situationships, if they last longer than 6 months, that's big to be with someone for 6 months and for it not, because as human beings, we crave it. We crave emotional connection. We crave being heard, listened to, and that EQ will sometimes always kick into gear.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, we're all going somewhere. We may not know where we are going, but part of a situationship is because it's directionless and we are going somewhere, it's easy to grow apart because you don't necessarily have an end in mind. And so learning to be intentional, learning to really sit through and be formal with exactly what you want out of a partner and out of your relationship is a critical part of why we see this move from situationships to intentionality.
All right. So we want to know from you again, how are you being intentional? Have you been in a situationship? Are you saying goodbye to the idea of a situationship? And we're going to take a brief break. And then when we come back, we are going to give you seven tips that will support you dating with intention so that you don't have any more dating headaches in 2023.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight, we are talking about no more dating headaches in 2023. Gen Z and millennials are moving from situationships, which are casual, non-committed relationships and interactions that involve physical intimacy
pleasure.
and dating features, moving into more intentionality with their relationships. And so what we want to offer you is 7 ways to date with more intentionality. So the brain really feels love, and that's important because most people desire romantic love, and that is unique to everyone. So whether you're a songwriter, a poet, or artist, they all express their love in different ways. And so the brain can recognize what falling in love is. And so part of the reason why we bring that up is because being in a situationship is oftentimes an attempt to turn that portion of our brain off, to turn off those things that we crave as it relates to those formalized features of when it comes to love, the commitment. We want someone to check on us and to ask us how our day goes. We want someone to touch us sometimes in a sexual way to show us that they care. We want someone, exactly. We want someone to see us outside of just what they can provide from us or what they just want us to do for them. And so number one, as it relates to one of the ways to remain intentional when it comes to dating, is be authentic when you go on your dates. You want to strive to be your authentic and genuine self when you interact with someone. That means if you're quirky, if you're the things that you're into, if you're into Star Wars or whatever it is, you want to make sure it's important and allow someone to see you fully authentic from the beginning. Will show the other person that you are not going to change and become someone different.
Absolutely. And then the second tip, and being intentional. Again, lift the weight. Don't keep the mental clutter and fight against your brain, which tells you really that emotional side is a healthy thing. Have fun. What is your laugh meter? Has your laugh meter gone off lately? A lot of us, we, again, in childhood, we were happy. We were very healthy and expressive. You know why? Because we laughed. We had those gut laughs, right? So it is important. What is your what's been your laugh dosage in the past week?
For me, it's been just interacting with children.
Okay.
And I've been off work, and so I've had the chance to do some things that I enjoy doing. I went to Waffle House today.
Ooh.
And so that's my
Somebody
happy.
got secrets. Somebody got secrets.
Somebody,
you
I'm
say
just
all
saying.
Of that.
Yeah, I went to Waffle House. That's my happy, no frills place. So that's part of the way that I have fun. All right, number 3, as it relates to dating with intentionality, is for you to avoid over analyzing. So now this is of the reason, one of the reasons in spaces where individuals are open to situationships, because of trying to formalize too early exactly what this is and where you're trying to go. But you want to allow yourself, again, in being your authentic self, to not overanalyze and psychoanalyze the person that you're in a relationship, envisioning them in your how they're going to line up and what we've got 2 different beliefs and what are our children. Wait a minute, this is date number 2. Calm down. Allow it to evolve organically and to see exactly what it is that you may like about that person, and really embracing exactly who they are.
Yeah, don't create spreadsheets and boards and you already got a digital magazine and you've planned that the whole life. Calm down and relax, right? All right, number 4. One thing that you want to do, all right, is stop comparisons.
Ring the bell.
Stop comparisons. And so, it can be very toxic when we, an ex resurfaces or something happens and, we start to ask ourselves like, man, what if, if I was with this person, would it have worked out if I get back with them? And so we want to just make sure that we don't get caught up in comparing. Or my close friend is everyone's getting engaged. Everyone's getting engaged and around me. No, be intentional, with the choices that you're making, and making sure that the comparison is the worst thing you can do. That is abuse.
Absolutely.
That is intrapersonal, because again, you are in a relationship with yourself. When you compare yourself to other people and their experiences, it literally, you are looking to the left when you should be looking straight ahead to stay on course and be on point with your journey, your experience for such a time as this. So comparisons, it is toxic. It is self-neglect, harm, and abuse, and we need to stop it and to
comparison is the enemy of need. It will destroy uniqueness. Comparison is the enemy of uniqueness. It will absolutely kill your ability to be able to show up and embrace your authentic self. And also remember, your ex is your ex for a reason.
Ooh.
Your ex is your ex for a reason. Sometimes we forget that. Now, some of us, we made some mistakes and lessons we shouldn't let go. But there are some people that we let go for an intentional reason. And so we're talking about dating with intentionality, and that means facing forward. That means keeping your eyes focused and fixed on where it is that you are trying to go, and not allowing yourself to be tethered and hindered by what is behind you. I am preaching the
you said a whole mouthful right
so
there.
Point number 5. This is my favorite one. Mean what you say. Now
you gotta say it the old school way. Say what you mean.
Listen,
and mean what you say.
So my father has a great saying. He used to say, "You can make your mouth say anything."
Yes.
And part of the reason why this is important is because when we're in the dating process with someone, we are oftentimes so hell-bent on trying to impress them, on trying to show ourselves as being this person, especially if we like them, trying to mold ourselves in the image of what it is that we think they want in order to stay to generate and keep that interest with them.
So what you're saying, to summarize, is we lie.
Yes, we lie. Tell the truth
by omission of the truth, by not really sending out the representative,
exactly,
not being your authentic self.
Yeah. So it's very important because the games that are played in dating can be so detrimental to you individually, because what happens is you begin to embrace a persona about yourself and an identity that is not true. The other thing that it does is that the person or the individual that you are presenting, now you can't keep up with the image that you initially projected. So you got a double lie. You're lying to yourself and betraying yourself, and you're also lying to this person who's your potential partner and presenting a person that you are not.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm all about sustainability and things like that. And so, in my relationships, I try to be intentional in the sense that I don't want to give a false sense of what I'm able to give. Because some people they develop these patterns. And if you visit them 3 Tuesdays out of the month, and the next month you don't visit them on 3 Tuesdays out of the month, it's a problem. So you want to make sure you say what you mean, but you're intentional in your interactions. All right. Number 6, and we're closing it out. Number 6, drop the prerequisites. Whoa. Now with that one, now notice we are not saying drop your principles. We are not saying drop your values, but we are saying drop prerequisites, especially if you got a whole encyclopedia of prerequisites. And so if nobody is catching your eye, you're not impressed with anyone because you got 101 things of prerequisites. They must be this religion, they must be this race or ethnicity, they must be this height, they must be this weight, their facial features must be this, because again, sometimes this is connected to the fact that have you planned out your life? Did you envision your children would be, look this way and we're going to live here and there? So again, when it comes to, if you don't want to have a dating headache in 2023, be open. Be open. It doesn't mean to lower your standards. Your principles, your values, your expectations are still there. But this is just about the prerequisites. This is your filter. So when you're dating, it's like, no. All right, they have to be in this age range. They have to do this. They have to do this. They have to do this. Just be mindful. If that list is so overwhelming, your filter only has like 2 people in your profile.
There was a couple, right, that did a show that talked about burning your list. It was a really good show.
I think I know that.
Yeah, y'all need to look them up. Their names are Walter and Charmaine Jennings. They do a show called Before I Do, and they have a really great episode called Burning Your List, the Burn Notice.
And you should book them for a session.
Absolutely.
Like, what is up?
Definitely
We're waiting to get to know you all. So yes, we want to hear from you. Book us for a session. If you're just in a relationship with yourself, we want to meet with you.
And speaking of yourself, number 7, our last for embracing intentionality in dating is envision your best self.
Yeah.
Bear in mind that you are continuing to grow. You are continuing to evolve. One of the things that I shared with Charmaine that I've been led over the past few years is I thank her for doing life with me.
Yeah.
And so understanding that as you're dating and as you're getting to know people, you are also growing and getting to know yourself.
That's right.
And so remember to be patient with yourself. Remember to continue to grow and be open again to some of the things that may be a part of who you are that you may not have tapped into yet.
That's right.
And that's why it's important when it comes to dropping your prerequisites, because there may be some things that are not on your list. There may be some things that are good for you in your growth and in your individuality that you didn't necessarily take into consideration. So always envision your best self.
All right. So we are your Couples Academy practitioners. This show is called Before I Do because, again, we are interested in getting in your business about if you're dating, if you are in love, if you want to be in love, if you need to be enlightened and in love with yourself. We are here to support you. So book us for a session. We expect to hear from you to get to know you this year and looking forward to it. So I'm Charmaine Jennings.
My name is Walter Jennings. We are your Couples Academy practitioners, and we thank you so much for tuning in to Before I Do. Be sure to check us out this same time next Wednesday evening for another episode of Before I Do. Good night, everybody.